Good evening, ma'am. I'm Reuben Proctor, and the museum's curator. Good evening. Welcome to the museum. Delighted, sir. It's an honour. Good evening, ma'am. I'm Reuben Proctor, the museum's curator. Good evening. How do you do? Straight up the stairs. Do take a seat in the hall. Good evening. Good evening, Admiral. Welcome to the museum. Thank you. Your ladyship. Straight up the stairs, please, and into the hall.
Filling up nicely?
This has to be the most terrifying night of my life.
You'll look back on it as the foundation of your success.
Your Grace.
And furthermore... Yes?
2 minutes, gentlemen.
What do you think this is, Doyle? A theatre of varieties?
My colleague has been clarifying his opinions for my benefit.
Yes, tell him what we agreed.
Professor Rutherford will dissect the remains without my assistance.
Mm-hmm.
I will then speculate on a diagnosis without his.
Oh, yes, and Doyle. Be sure all those inbred provincials understand that this evening has a serious purpose. We are not here to entertain. If I see any people enjoying themselves, I shall, of course, expect them to be thrown out.
Grapes, oranges, pickled whelks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one and all. Before I introduce our distinguished professors, I have here a telegram from the great Egyptologist, Sir Flinders Petrie, who thanks us for his invitation, but regrets he cannot join us tonight, engaged as he is in a major excavation at Tarnis. Signed by his secretary. Let me now tell you what I can about our subject, which is precious little, I'm afraid, as the only evidence is in these hieroglyphs, and many of them are variations on those forms that present scholarship can recognize. It's my belief that our subject was a high-born female who died in her 23rd year. The circumstances of her life are unknown to us, as is the cause of her death. We hope to shed a little light on both in the course of the evening. It's my privilege to present Professor William Rutherford.
Bravo! The preservation of corpses in ancient Egypt involved the removal of brain, lungs, and viscera, followed by a desiccation of the flesh. In this condition, the dead were sent forth to derive whatever pleasure they could from the afterlife. This body has been wrapped in linen. The linen has then been soaked to form a hard shell. The state would have been further protected by a mummy case or sarcophagus, in the absence of which the condition of this specimen is poor. Very poor indeed. It has, however, retained its integrity for 3 millennia. Now, despite the smell of a certain decay, I have to say that for a 3,000-year-old cadaver, the state of preservation is remarkable. Quite remarkable. Especially with regard to the watch chain and the waistcoat. Mr. Proctor! I shall not withdraw to my unremarkable and noticeably inexpensive hotel. I shall take the first train to London, where for the rest of the week I may be contacted at my club. They'll send you the bill.
Your opinion, Dr. Doyle?
I'll defer to yours, sir.
3,000 years buried, but only 3 or 4 weeks dead.
An impossibility.
Aye. More of a police matter, I think.